Hello, today we're on the golf course and I want to show you how I would play a hole if I had different handicaps. So high handicapper, mid handicapper, low handicapper, how you should play a hole of golf. And we're starting with a short par 3. So here we are on a short par 3. Statistically, the par 3s are the most difficult holes on the golf course. Even looking at the professionals are shooting over par on the par 3s. And not only because they're long. The short par 3s are sometimes even more difficult than the long par 3s because it's the short par 3s which are really guarded by the most hazards. It's also the short par 3s that have the smallest greens. And finally, it's the short par 3s who give you that feeling, this is where I'm going to make my birdie. For the average amateur and the high handicap amateur, the short par 3s give you that feeling, this is where I can par the hole, this is where I could even get a birdie. This is the hole I can reach where the other ones I can't. But think about it very carefully before you do that, because the course designer knows this, and he's going to make your life extremely difficult if you don't hit the perfect shot. So of course, as ever, it's about knowing your game, knowing how much or how far you hit each club in the bag, and knowing what kind of dispersion figures you have on it. As we said in the last video, and I'll leave a link up here, if you have a good idea of the green that you're playing and how much room it's giving you, where the fall lines are on the green, you're going to have a better chance of playing into the green from the right side. But on the other hand, usually the course designer really doesn't give you an awful lot of choice. If we look at this par 3, 3/4 of or 2/3 of the green is surrounded by water, so I really don't want to be going right of the green because I'm going to get wet feet. So I have to play left of the green if I don't play at the green. But a lot of you will be saying, well, it's only a short par 3, can't you just hit it at the green? Well, this is, I think, a perfect point in case. This hole has around about 130 meters. 130 meters is a pitching wedge for a golf professional. For a high handicap golfer, though, this could be anything up to a 6-iron, 5-iron. For a good golfer, maybe you're hitting in a 9-iron or an 8-iron into the green. But this changes dramatically the way that the ball is actually going to react when it lands. So for a professional who hits a wedge into the green, the ball is flying very high with an awful lot of spin. Normally they'll have around about 10,000 revs per minute on the golf ball, and this will stop the ball when it lands, although really it doesn't have to because the ball is landing so steeply it doesn't want to roll anywhere anyway. So for a golf professional, it's all about distance control, dispersion control, landing the ball where he wants it to give him the easiest putt. For the average golfer, you're hitting a 9 or an 8-iron into the same distance, which is going to make the ball fly with a flatter trajectory. And this flatter trajectory means that when the ball lands, it's got far more forward momentum. The 9 or the 8-iron is actually reducing your spin maybe to 7 or 6, or if you're not using a professional ball, 5,000 revs per minute, so half of what the golf pros have. And you've got twice as much forward momentum on the ball. So it's not going to be that simple to stop the ball on the green, especially it's summer on hard greens. When we get to the high handicap amateur who's hitting 7, 6 or even 5-iron into the green, using usually a harder form of ball, you're going to have around about 2,000 spin, 2,500 spin on this ball, and it's going to be coming in like an exocet. That means you're not stopping it on the green even if you hit the green. And behind the green, there's usually hazards. In this case, water, in other cases, bunkers, and other unpleasant places. So what I want to do today is show you how I would play the hole as a high handicap, a mid to low handicap, and a professional golfer. One, just looking for a solid bogey, which could even be lower than your handicap anyway, because often, although these are the shortest holes on the golf course, they do have a relatively average course rating, anything from 9 to 15, which means you might, if you're playing anything under an 18 handicap, or over an 18 handicap, mean that you're going to be actually playing par or better on this hole. If on the other hand, you've got yourself into a good handicap area and you're basically looking for your par on this hole, then basically where you land the golf ball is going to have an awful lot of play in whether you can do that, giving yourself a putt, which means real good distance control and knowing how far the ball is actually not going to only carry but also roll, so that you also don't go over the green. And finally, as the professional golfer, you're looking for your birdie here, which means distance control, dispersion, landing the ball in the right place to get a good short putt and hopefully make your birdie. I'm going to play this hole 3 times now and see whether I can do it, taking the golf clubs, which you will probably be taking it if you're a high, middle or professional golfer. Let's see how I get along. So if you're wondering how I've suddenly changed my outfit, it's another day. We didn't actually manage to get on the course and finish this the other day, so I'm back here today to play the course in these 3 different manners. Now the flag is around about 6 yards on the green and about 8 yards from the right side of the green. 8 yards in front of the flag is a water hazard and 10 yards to the right of the flag is a water hazard. So from the edge of the green to the water hazard, there's only a 2-yard distance at the front and to the side. There's more room at the back, but obviously if you want to play safe here, you want to try and get the golf ball into the center of the green. Now a pro may take this on if he's got his distance control on, but a golfer hitting a 7, 6 or a 5 iron into this flag should be aiming at the middle of the green and letting it run out. Somebody hitting an even higher club should not be aiming at the green at all. Up the left-hand side, chip, 2 putts, and maybe 1 putt if they get a bit lucky. I'm going to try all 3 types and see how it goes. So I'm going to hit 3 shots into the green, 1 with a wedge, 1 with 7 iron, 1 with a 5 iron. The wedge, I'm going basically straight at it. There's a little bit of wind against today, so 130 meters, it's going to be a bit of a stretch for me. I'm going to give it a go anyway. The 7 iron, I'm going to try and land it around about pin high. So obviously for me, it's going to be kind of a half 3/4 swing. The 5 iron, kind of a half swing up the left-hand side, give myself a chip to the green. It'd be interesting to see which ball gives me the best score. So let's give it a go. Start with the aggressive mode. So, didn't look too far away. Let's have a look at the 7 iron now. Now obviously I don't play a 7 iron 130 yards or 130 meters very often, so we'll have to see how well this comes out. That's really perfect, I think, if it's got the length. And now we'll take 5 iron. Well, that's more or less where I wanted it as well. So let's go and get them. So I don't know how well you can actually see this, but the 5 irons come up exactly where I wanted it to. The 7-iron that I was expecting to roll out has actually stopped pretty quickly. Now that might have been helped a little bit by the head-on wind, and the wedge has actually come up short. Got to think a little bit about my distancing there, because the wedge seems to have come up only around about kind of 10 meters short of the 7-iron, so that's not too good. But it basically goes to show, with a wedge, I've really cut it very fine. That really could have ended up with wet feet there. Whereas the 7-iron, which I thought was actually going to be something that would be running through to the back of the green and giving me a more difficult shot, has actually turned up pin high, and it's just stayed where it is. And here with the 5-iron, I'm exactly where I wanted to be. Now, normally I would take a little lob wedge here and lob it up to the flag, but I'm playing this from the perspective of a high handicapper, and if he's got the ball down here, then he's probably going in with like a 9-iron or an 8-iron or something like that, and just kind of chipping it onto the green and letting it go forward. So I'm not going to try and do anything spectacular in my technique or anything else. I'm going to just grip down on the club, put the ball in the middle of the nose, try and get almost like kind of a putting movement going on, just to move the ball forward onto the putting surface and then let it run out. Now, that's not the best shot in the world, but the thing is on the middle of the green with 2 shots, and if I'm getting a shot ahead, then it's like hitting the green in regulation. If I'm getting 2 shots, then I'm up for a birdie chance. Next trick then is to try and save my par as the pro. So here, the little chip from the front of the green. I suppose I could really putt this. You can see the pitch mark here, so it's come back on me a little bit, but the pitch mark for the 7-iron's only about 10 yards ahead, so something went wrong there, or the wind got it. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of chip it up to the hole and see if I can save my par. Well, we gave it a chance. High handicapper looking putt for a par, or maybe a net birdie. Probably done him injustice there, haven't I? Poor putt. But he's got his bogey. Should be happy with that. So the mid handicapper has a birdie putt. Not going to do an awful lot by the looks of things. Just going to roll it up and see if we can't celebrate a nice little birdie. And he's too short. Well, isn't that always a story? And now the pro with the tricky little par putt. Struggling more than both of the other guys. Manages to get it though. So there you have it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Deciding how you're going to play the golf course before you go out on it is always going to get you a better score in the end, and each individual hole has its own difficulties. I think this has showed you how a short par 3 can be dangerous, but if you use your noddle, you might actually get off it with a lot of points. I went for the flag with one shot and didn't even hit the green. I tried just to get it on the green with another shot and got it quite close to the hole. The shot where I played the percentages came off for me, and I didn't have to hit a good chip or a good putt really to get the 4 in and a bogey. And if I've got a shot on this hole or 2, then I've done very well as far as the points go. The mid-handicap player was able to have a birdie putt. The pro in the end was happy to save his par. You pays your money and you take your choice. I hope this helps you. If it did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I shall leave my philosophy of golf up here on the left-hand side. Just a little inkling, I've got a nice little teaching video for you coming up next, which is going to tell you about the forces that the club is applying to your body. If you're interested in that, hit the little bell. That will give you notifications when that video goes online. Until the next time, bye-bye now.